Hi, it's Kathy. Welcome back to my craft room. We're working on our altered book. We're on part 4 of the series. Last time we glued our pockets shut and we started adding some layers, and that was your homework, was to add some more structural pieces to your altered book. So pockets, tuck spots, belly bands, that sort of thing. So today we'll work on some more of the decorative type elements since we have a lot of our structure done. I'll show you what I've done so far. And I was pulling out some envelopes to add as flips in my journal, and I pulled out these 3. And if you recall, I believe it was day 19 in the 100 days of envelopes. I did a stacked or a layered envelope idea, and I saw that this green looked so nice with the cover. So I'm going to do that as our journal topper. I just wanted to let you know that that was my idea for the cover. These two are the same size, so I'm going to have to alter this envelope into something smaller. So we'll remaster that one so I can get that layered effect. And then of course we can add things to decorate the front with. But I really like that idea for doing a journal topper with, it'll end up with 3 flips, and then underneath we can have of course some sort of wonderful, we'll figure it out. It's gonna, I'm kind of excited about that. So I just wanted to let you know I've got those set aside, and we're not going to do the cover today, but I wanted to save those envelopes for that idea. So once again, I have these out for inspiration. These are the little hinge journals I made with the travel bug kit. I did replicate this scene right here, and I just wanted to use this for a little bit of inspiration throughout my journal. So I've gone ahead and I have printed a few more of these items here on cardstock, and yeah, this is, it's made a little passport with a photo inside. So these are good inspiration, not only just for what I've added, but how I put the photos with certain backgrounds. I just thought that would be good inspiration. I still haven't found my ribbon. A little disappointed about that, but anyway. So I have my file folder full of offcuts from and scraps from what we've done so far. Some of the bigger pieces of scrapbook paper, I've trimmed them down just so that they're a little more ready for making tags and journaling cards and such. Have that ready to go. And of course I have all my ephemera cut from the cottage country kit and the travel bug kit. Okay, so let's just dive in. It's a gray day, it's rainy. I also have a dentist appointment later. Oh no, it's not the dentist, it's a dental hygienist. Not so bad. But I thought, oh, what a blah day. So I'm gonna do something fun. So so I thought, it's not the best day for lighting, but we certainly have time and the means to do this. So let's record something. Okay, so in the front I added a pocket with one of the photos. You can see I used ink, a little extra ink around where it's a little bit of a brighter white piece, that one. We have this tip in. I did this one with you the other day. I've added this to side tuck here. So it's a piece of scrapbook paper, and then on top a piece of just printed, a printable on regular copy paper. This was the piece that was in the book from, this book belonged to my stepdad. And I just added it like a little flip there. So here I've kind of recreated this scene here. I don't have the red ribbon, so I added some of the darker dollar store paper of the atlas, and I put it on added a brad so it's movable. So I've just kind of recreated that scene there, and I turned this page horizontal like it is there. So I quite like this scene, so I replicated that in my journal. Here I've added a side tuck, and then I just, while I was at it, was looking at color. So this will add today. I wanted to keep this 2 WSW, so I'm just going to add these. So I just tuck those in there as an afterthought. I didn't do anything here. I've added a few of the passports as pockets. We did this one together. We did that one together, I believe. I think we did this one together. And this, I do believe we did last video. Got a side tuck here. Some of them I don't want to cover up. I just really like looking at them. They're already, there's another passport that I've used as a pocket and left a lot of the text here. I've added a pocket on top of this side loading pocket. I added another side loading pocket and just matched the thumb notch there. Tip in, I think we did that together. Here I've added some pockets with scrapbook paper, and I use green to kind of balance the green over here of that suitcase. I think this I just did as a pocket I added. So I used this taller piece and glued a photo on an angle there. This is just cut out. That's one of the great things about those text pieces. You can trim out so much text to add I just pulled the blue there. This one, I think did I do that with you or not? I'm not sure. It's just a collage. There's no no, that's not meant to be a pocket. There's no pockets there. This one I did a diagonal belly band. So let me get something bigger here. So it's a diagonal belly band. I think that might be a little bit too big. Let me just get something a little smaller. There. So it's glued here. It's glued here. And then this piece glues on top of both of those to connect it. So I've got a diagonal belly band. And then this is showing behind. I quite like that. And then I trimmed out the suitcases off some of that scrapbook paper to make a pocket. And then I just framed it with some blue scrapbook paper just to try to balance this over here. I didn't do anything here yet. Still have that cluster to cover. I don't think I'm going to cover this collage. I just love it as is. So I don't think I'll do anything. If I do anything, it'll be clipped on. I don't think I'm going to cover up any of that. I just love that collage from this is from the Ruby sleeping under my desk. She's snoring. I'm sorry. This is from the Cottage Country ephemera kit. This is the collage page that goes with it. I added this girl here with a blue backer just to pull off some of the blue here that we did. I just added this fella to this pocket I made. I added this couple here from their passport to use as a pocket. And then I don't know if that's going to work or not. If I find maybe a small photo, I had this idea to, I just glued these two medallions. So they're both from the kit. This one fits a 2-inch circle punch. Maybe I'll find one of the smaller passport photos just to tuck in there. I was just trying to cover up this little wrinkle here. I haven't done this one yet, so we'll do that today. Here I took one of the advertisements and simply cut it on a diagonal, corner to corner, and put one side here for a pocket and this side here for a tuck. So that is one of the ads, and that still shows a lot of the text in the book, which I really like. Here's a belly band. Oh, I glued a couple more pages down, just printables on the blank pages towards the back. So I've got a small belly band there, which we can add something to, and that's it. Okay, so that's where I'm at. So let's start back here. So what did I have? I had a few things in mind for that. So the passport. So I just glued one of the tickets, luggage tickets there. Oh, this is actually a belly band. That's right. I said a pocket. It's a belly band. There we go. That. We'll add something underneath here. Since we have all of this, it would be really nice to add some writing space. Now when we add this writing spot, we can also make it a little tuck spot. But we have so many pockets in here already, like so many. I think you'll see me just start laying things down now. I think we have enough pockets. But we do need to add some writing space to this journal, so we need to be aware of that. So that would include the journaling cards so that you can write on the back, if some of them are blank on the back, and then adding little writing spots like this. We'll also fold up some document style things that you can tuck into the pockets that you can pull out and write on. So they would be like a loose journaling spot. That's good. I went back, I was just concerned about the buckling of when you're gluing your pockets, and I went back and I looked at some other creators just to see if they did anything different, like any tips or tricks to, you know, does it make sense when you're gluing your pocket, so you had an angled pocket here, does it make sense to pull it this way to glue it? But those ended up worse. You ended up with a buckle this way and a buckle that way. So really, I think it just depends on the book you're using, how many pages you have in between, and whether or not they're going to lay down nicely. It just, and then using those tricks like we did here to revisit all the bends in the book. Like this, every single page of this is laying down quite nicely. Like I'm pretty happy with, and once it's been closed for a while, like that, those will lay nice and flat. There isn't anything sticking up like this where it feels like I'm putting tension on the book to close it. So I really didn't find any other tips or tricks, but if you have any to read, tips or tricks to avoid that buckling that we ran into last video, I really think it's my book. It's just, there's a lot of pages in there, and maybe if it was just down to 10 or 12, we wouldn't have such issues. It's just I've used a pretty thick book. Okay, and then we can come back with some sort of embellishment to add to this later if we want, like a little ticket or something here. For now, we've just added a little extra writing spot there. This I don't think I want to add anything to, but we can certainly put something in here as a writing, but I want it to be taller. Okay, baby. I've put her dog bed under my desk, and then there's a sheepskin laying on top of the dog bed, so she's just zonked. It's so comfy. Okay, so now we've added that journaling card in there, and we can tuck that envelope back into our journal. Beautiful. Moving right along. Need a journaling card of some sort here. I like this canoe card. I like that red canoe picks up this here, so I like that, and I think I'll just leave it. But I think we could add a photo or something here. I think I'm gonna just give up on that little dream right now, and if something makes sense later on to add that's vertical there, I will. Okay, these I wanted to keep square. That's been inked. That's I use the same scrapbook paper here, so that's a nice balance for this page spread here. So I'll just fruit fly. Okay, kind of early for you guys. Okay, so same distance between here and here as I did along here. Just using some decorating tips. And then this one, I'll do the same thing. I'll do the same margin along here and here. I don't care about the overlap. I'm just looking at this here, which is pleasant to the eye. If it's all kind of, there's some sort of symmetry in that. Symmetry is not the right word. Balance, I guess. So I'm using the same, just by eye, same space here as here and here. Oh, and I need to lift that up just for a second. Okay, because this guy needs to come in first. And then we'll just center him. I like it. Back down. And this girl here. I think that's really pretty. I like that. It looks good. So now, and I wanted to leave this with the dates showing. So we haven't really talked much about travel, and we are doing a travel themed journal. So that seems to lend to having a conversation about travel. So one of my favorite places to travel to in Ontario is where my dad's hunting camp, which is now for sale. I think that's the end of that era, but that certainly have tons of good memories. It was up in Chapleau. Take a look at your map and see how far that is. It's like an 11-hour drive straight. It's a long drive, so the drive is part of the journey. Most everyone you're driving with sleeps, and you take turns driving. So, but some places we would stop on the way would be Nairn Center, Espanola. Where else would we stop? Oh, I'd have to look at a map. They would jump out at me. But Chapleau is definitely rocks, water, and trees. No hydro, no running water. Well, not in the sense that you have here. We had a gravity-fed water tower, and we would pump water from the lake to the tower. When we had the generator on with gasoline, we would turn the generator on, run that to get the power we needed to turn the pump on to pump water from the clear lake to the water tower. There was a bleaching type of system to clarify the water, and that was the water that would come into the cabin, gravity fed. So we did have running water for the shower and for flushing the toilets. There was one indoor toilet, and also for the kitchen and the bathroom sink as well. Kitchen sink and bathroom sink. So pretty fancy for a hunting camp. It was just gravity fed water. We did not drink that water unless you boiled it. We could use it for cooking, but we would bring our own drinking water. There's also a well on the property. If you could get it to work, it took a lot of muscle, you could get clear water. And then there was also from like an old army filtration canister, great big stainless steel thing, where the sediment or whatnot would filter to the bottom, and then the spout was above that. So if you dared to drink that, we could take that water from that tank and then boil it. So there was ways to do it, but we mostly just brought bottled water for drinking. And then solar power. There was a windmill up there for a little while to generate power, and then like golf cart batteries with an inverter to run power when we needed it. So that was roughing it, but it was luxury roughing it. It felt like, okay, I feel like we're going to want some sort of fanciness up here, but we will wait until we do the embellishing for that. Okay, something here. This is just too much of that color. Niagara Falls is a popular, so there's Niagara Falls on the Canadian side and Niagara Falls on the US side. Niagara Falls is a nice day trip for us. It's like an hour and a half from here. driving east. All secondary roads, like no highway driving. I mean, you can take the highway, but it's an easy drive. It's a nice day. You could go spend the day and come back home. Like, you don't need to stay over, but it's also a great place to stay over if you want to do a little shopping, dining, and you know, if you have don't want to be driving in the evening to come home. My ex and I used to go on the bike, and then you could park anywhere, which was great. And what we found was you could do, like, well, this goes back a few years, but you could go for the day and spend, you could do like a bunch of activities that were like, say, $20 per couple. So we could go the wax museum, or the Harley Davidson museum, or there's just different things you could do there that were like $20 each. So you could, like, $100 day, and you have done 5 attractions: the IMAX theater, the and we could zip around on the bike pretty easily. Now, if we drove, we could park somewhere, and then you could buy your ticket for the day for there's like a transit you can use to take you to different activities throughout. There, I like that. That tone down that big piece. I like that a lot. So we'll leave that card in there for now. Do you want a different color? Is that too matchy-matchy? I just feel like this is a lot of text, and now I'm thinking I don't want anything that there's already a lot of text here. Do you know what I mean? So a photo might be better. There, I like that one. Around your corners. So yeah, you could have a nice date day and daytime tripping kind of thing, and do quite a bit. And then if you stayed late enough in the evening, you could watch the fireworks over the falls, or the light up of the falls, which is always really nice too. And then it was just a nice evening bike ride home in the warm months. That was quite nice. Good way to cool off. And so Niagara Falls is definitely up on my list of places to go. I would drive there myself and just go thrifting. Like, there's a Value Village right there. There's a, what do you call it, outlet mall. Now, that is something that around here people do, is they book a cheapy motel there, or hotel, and go with you know, your mom, your sister, whoever. I know my daughter's friend and her sister and mom do this. They go every year, and they do a whole bunch of their Christmas shopping at once. They get the hotel so they can go back and forth to the hotel to rest or eat, or take their purchases and not leave them in the vehicle. But there's a couple small motels right close to that little outlet mall, and it's a great there, that breaks up the text now, doesn't it? How's that? I still think that's kind of busy for that, but that's okay. Let's just leave it. And then we'll come back and embellish this later with something. Okay, this guy. But anyways, and then you've got not too far of a drive, and you've accomplished a lot of your, plus you got to spend some time with your mom and your sister. So I think that's a really neat idea. I like that. So where else do I like to go? My sister and I rented an Airbnb one time, and we went up to, there's a really great garden place. The Watering Can. They have 2 locations. But if you go up near like Jordan Station, up that way, where did we stay? So like wine country up there, lots of thrift shops. So we kind of picked an Airbnb spot in the middle. Where were we? Not Leamington. Lord County, that's the wrong way. Lincoln Township, up that way. Nice, easy driving, beautiful scenery while you're driving. There's a lot of breweries and places like that. Great places to eat. Cheese shops, like fancy gourmet cheese places. So you can do a little bit of each. You can do a little bit of fine dining, but you can also hit like a bunch of thrift stores. So you drive for, 20 minutes this direction, 20 minutes that direction to find or a little further maybe for a few thrift stores, but it's certainly worth your while. And then your Airbnb is, located in the center. You plan your days. We did 2 days. And then we had a nice evening. We did like charcuterie we got the goodies to come back to our beautiful Airbnb and make charcuterie boards. That was fun. It's just a little bit, yeah, I don't think I need all that green now. And now I don't like these, so now I think I can do a neutral color. So we'll hang on to those. Maybe a photograph would be great. Yeah, I think I'm going to trim the bright white off of that a little bit more, trim it right down, and then I'm going to just do that on an angle. I quite like that. And then maybe we can add an embellishment or something to that later on. But let's just get this trimmed down. There we go. There's, if you look at like festivals and you kind of follow the festivals around in Ontario, like there's Pumpkin Fest in Waterford, that's in the fall. There's strawberries, there's all the festivals throughout Ontario. Like all these little rural towns have their festivals, which is great because then you can, and if you plan ahead, because you need to book things way far ahead now, even if you're camping, and then go attend those, because that's where you hit the craft fairs and the, you know, the fun stuff. I like that. Okay, well, I like that very much. I like the color combination here very much. Okay, moving along. Moving right along. Okay, so I added something here. That might be too much pink. We have blue to pull over. I kind of matched the colors already, so this insert could be more neutral. Oh, that's the same couple. There, that breaks it up a bit like that. There, and then I really don't want to cover up that green, selfishly. Maybe we'll do a more narrow tag there. There we go. Something like that. I just don't want to cover up that green for some reason. Now I don't like this. It's too, unless I warm it up a little bit. But this kind of solid here breaks up the busyness, I think. A little bit. Okay, so we'll just ink this up a bit so that it's not so bright. Apple Fest, that's the one we went to. I went with my friend to help her at her, she was set up as a vendor. It's a lot of work for one person, so set up, tear down, plus working the show all day long, 10 hours. So I went with her and we got an Airbnb, nice little spot that was within walking distance of the craft show. And that was the Apple Fest, I think in Meaford. So that was fun. So you think fall harvest kind of thing. Better. I feel like I want to go a little bit darker. So that's fun. I follow, of course, a couple Facebook groups for, you know, Ontario day tripping kind of thing, and people love to share their favorite thrift stores. That's, what's the one that I belong to called? I'll check. If you're from Ontario, or if you're coming to Ontario, there's a Ontario Day Trips Guide. That's what it's called. And there's posts in there like constantly, and people sharing their favorite spots or hidden gems and that sort of thing. There's just, I've told you this before, I am not a traveler. I don't go to the Caribbean. I've never been to the Caribbean. I do not, it's not that I won't, I just don't have the desire to. I don't mind flying. I'm not great on ships or boats, so that's kind of out for me. I'm not great on open water. I would love to do a train. I know it's really expensive, but I think I would like to do a Canadian train vacation. I guess I really would. And I would like to do Alaska sometime. I think those are two trips that when I finally get to travel mode, that's what I'll do. Okay, so these are great journaling cards, so lots of writing space there. So here and here, that breaks that up a bit. And then we have this tag up here, which we'll do a tassel, or I'm not going to go through and do embellishments just yet, so I will further embellish this tag. Let's just ink it up for now and round the corners maybe. Yeah, let's just do that. And I'll come back and we'll add a tassel or whatnot to it. I'm very good luck with my punch today. But have you ever done a train? Like, some people save up and go to Europe, or there's places they, want to go. I'm just not, I don't have anyone to necessarily travel with, so I'm thinking I need to have a very small friend group. So my couple of my friends, I've mentioned Gail, and another one is Melissa. She's from Wilsonville Antiques. She has a little shop. So we all have that in common, that we like thrifting and antiquing. Okay, so we'll come back and add some business to that later on. I like that. And we could even add a photo if we get the right color, like in front of this here. Actually, I kind of like her right there. I think I just might do that. Speaking of, just to break some of that up. So anyways, we've been talking about doing a trip to renting an Airbnb, renting a house or something, and go antiquing, like the Niagara way. Niagara on the Lake is beautiful as well. Gorgeous. My mom and I went and stayed at the Prince of Wales Hotel for a couple nights one time. That was really quite nice. It's expensive, but she was paying, so. But it was so nice. And we did a high tea. That was lovely. We just took our time, relaxed. We had beautiful meals at the hotel. We walked up and down the little strip there. That was a really nice weekend away. Or midweek, whenever we went. I can't recall. That was nice. I've just done so much traveling for sports that, well, there's a fun fact. I used to be president of our local minor lacrosse association. There you go. Now you know something about me. I used to do a lot of traveling for sports with my stepkids, and seen lots of places and for tournaments and such. These gals are just absolutely fabulous. I really want to use those. Some summer, like the black here to pull in. There's quite a bit of black on this side, so I like those two colors there. And then I think we might kind of fun to decorate this like that, perhaps. And these are little magazine covers, miniatures. They're just cute little things like that. I think those are really adorable. They're great little filler pieces. I haven't been in forever, like since I was quite young, in my 20s, I guess. And also, as that was our high school trip, was to go to Old Quebec City. And I know my sister and brother-in-law like to go there for like a romantic getaway. They have really good vacation ideas. They rent a houseboat sometimes and just cruise the river and do a houseboat to rent that for a week, and just, that's kind of fun. They have some really neat travel ideas. My sister seems to be, I have a cousin that's really good at finding deals too. Oh no, she likes to do, her and her friend, who is also my friend, they like to go to like retro, like really fun, weird out there hotels. So she's got some really good suggestions. They also like to go visit abandoned places. And my other cousin, her sister, she goes with them sometimes, but she has a bucket list of famous people's grave sites she likes to visit. And she records, not records, but keeps those memoirs, like the whole trip, the reason for it, and like these different people. She's in the entertainment, well, she's a college professor now, but she's in the entertainment industry, and has a love for that sort of thing. So it's kind of a neat bucket list, is, you know, like different people's grave sites she likes to visit, pay homage to. Any interesting things that people do. If you have any neat bucket lists like that, I'm not talking about collective things that we collect. I'm talking about experiences. If you have like a bucket list of experiences that you like to do you want to share them below? I think that would be an interesting read for everyone. I think that's kind of neat. Let's get this. Okay, so I'm just kind of go around these ladies a little bit. I'm just using like I'm bending this and using the edge, kind of like highlighting them like that. I think I'll do the same here. Across the top of the buildings there, and then this way, and then this way. I think it just adds some depth, perception, like it's shadowed, you know. Okay, so what did we decide? To go this way and this way? I like the house is a little higher on that side. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, if we wanted to, we could add something over here to balance that, but for right now, that to me is embellishing, so we'll go back to that. We have this pocket here, and it's very neutral, so we can definitely add some writing space here. Some faces. I'll save these really big ones for the bigger pockets. There, I think that'll help break that up. I'm going to add one of these envelopes, but glue it on backwards. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what your bucket list is. Like maybe you want to visit every value village in Ontario. I don't know. That would be fun. I would do that one. And blog about it. Your Value Village Chronicles. I'm sure somebody does that. That would be fun. I definitely want to do more workshops. Now, so far I've just done them where I'm very inspired by Twisted Paper Studio and Willow House, how they do their traveling workshops. I wish I could attend. I would think that would be so much fun. I really do. I'm not sure how they set it up, or I don't know much about it at all, but that's definitely something in the US. So that's kind of out of my reach. But the workshops I do have always just been for local gals. But I'm not against, there used to be some people that did, here's a ship. So this is like, kind of like this whole, oh, it's a cruise boat. It's not really a ship. Let me take that back. It's a little bit more shipish looking. And it's kind of the right color. See if I can find something about ships here. That's definitely a ship. This might be the place to put this one. It's just such a neat photo. If I cut that, I might be able to do that on an angle there. Yeah, I'm going to trim that one down a little bit. You definitely need to be in there. Yeah, I'm going to trim these two down so that they fit so I can do something there. Just glue those down and on the back and have this in there. That. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. I'm going to trim these down a little smaller. Of course, traveling west, I've only ever been out west to work for trade shows. So I didn't have much time to enjoy the beautiful scenery other than from my hotel window. I was busy working, but most definitely would love to go back out west at some point. There, I like that. I glue that down, and then that is the actual tuck. I like that. I'll probably put something across the flap later on. We'll see. There's, like I said, these pages with all the text, there's so much that you can cut. Like we could just cut something that would go across there. There's so much to goodness there. All right. All right, I'm just going to glue this down. This is one of my favorite photos out of the whole, where the ship can't get quite close enough because of the ice, so they're just bringing everyone on dog sled across off the ship to the port. Love that. There we go. Love that. Okay. And then we might do a small photo like this or something. I think that, actually, she's perfect. I think I'll use her. There we go. So I don't want to cover up the dogs. I think that is just perfect right there. That's some fun layering. And this one, like I said, I think I want to just glue it right to the back. Just make it a little bit smaller. It's one of the great things about printables. You have absolutely no hang-ups whatsoever about cutting things or trimming them, or because you know you can print it again and again and again. You know, I always have to make a pitch for printables. And for those of you that support my Etsy shop, thank you so very much. Love you guys. Okay, so now we'll just go on a different angle there. I'm just going to glue that right down. This travel bug, I'm having a lot of fun with this. It's something different. It's not frilly. It's not. So this journal to me doesn't really lend itself to, I don't think, lace and you know, maybe some trims, but I don't think it's like a lacy kind of thing. Maybe you might want to do that with yours. I'm going to leave this as a tuckable card, and I'm just going to even out some of that border. I should get out my photo corners. That would be a fun thing to do when we do the embellishing. We'll do some photo corners because there's so many photos in here. Now, mind you, a lot of them are passport photos, but some could also just pass as a portrait. There, like that. So we still need something here, but we'll do that when we come back and do some embellishing. So there, I just said that about flowers, and here's, or about lace, and there's some flowers. I'm okay with flowers though, because they're kind of I love the colors. So this is already done. I want to put something across there. Probably that right there. Or is there anything else I wanted to, this color, kind of this burgundy, maybe a little better. Although green is nice too to pull it. Yeah, I think we'll do that. It's nice to use, when we can, things that are just printed on regular copy paper, printer paper, so that we don't add too much bulk to our journal. Well, unless yours needs bulk. That's going to go there. And then that's a great place to tuck a journaling card. Those are just a little bit wide. This one, I think this one I can trim up a bit so that it fits up in there, so you've got a good journaling card. Yesterday my granddaughters had their grand finale, their dance recital for their studio. It was wonderful. I stayed for both shows, the morning one and the afternoon one, because they were a little bit different. But I got to see in person some of their numbers I've been watching through live streaming. I did go to some of the competitions, and some I live streamed, and then that was just the but also it includes their just recreation classes as well, their numbers, so it's not all the competitive dances. So I saw some that I haven't seen before and some costumes I haven't seen before. It was really, really enjoyable. The girls' dad participated in the dad's dance. They thought that was pretty funny. There was an adult class that did a number, which I didn't even know they had adult classes. Oh, still just a little bit too tall. Okay, I'm gonna have to lose that page number there, I guess. Okay. There, it's got a good writing card in there. Here we're ready for a tag of some sort. I think that's just about perfect. We can add some pink in here. Those are great. Okay, so we have 2 more journaling cards we're adding here. And of course there was this one. We'll come back and add something there. This needs some sort of a tuck card. Do something over here, I think, like this, perhaps. Thousand Islands. I like this yellowy type one, picks up the yellow there. I want to cover up that ship too much though. Maybe something in between the two of them. Still want, oh, this is a great journaling card. Okay, so this I'm going to actually pull this yellow, see the yellow around there? I'm going to fold this in half, and this will be a good journaling spot. You could even make that into a little notebook if you wanted to, adding some tea-dyed paper or such. I'll fold it in half, gave it a good crease, and then I'll round the corners together. Same time, like that. Now you could put a belly band inside this, add some photos to it, but I kind of like the idea of keeping it open for some writing space, because we know this journal lacks writing space as it is. We need to add the writing space. There. So that's a great one, just to the rounded side showing. So that's sticking out there. That's perfect. And then these guys, I'll do the corners real quick. Yeah, so just a little something. I didn't want to cover up the ship, and I wanted to break this up a little bit so passengers must keep up until the train stops. That's not the right thing there, Kathy. It's not a train, that's a boat. Let's find something else for there. That's a train one. I wasn't reading. That's okay, we'll fix it. We'll find something else for right there. That's also real. What about just a picture of somebody? I haven't really been paying attention to that, so I might have a few more that don't make sense. I shouldn't be that picky, but oh, here. Ooh, this is kind of neat. Oh, that's cool. I'll do that. Lake Rousseau. Lake Rousseau. It's a hotel, but it's on the water, so boat access. So that makes more sense, Kathy. And we'll cover up that. Oopsie. The rain's really coming down now. I don't know if you can hear it. I've got my screen door open at the back. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up here because this has been, we could just decorate all day long. It'd be fun, but I'm going to wrap up. Don't forget to list below your bucket list travel plans. I think that would be kind of a fun thing for everyone to read and share. Might give us some ideas of things we can do. Okay, where are we? We're not even partway through the middle. So I hope you got some ideas today of ways to use the photographs as belly bands and pockets. You've got some flip outs here. Add some writing space, some journaling cards like we made here with the lined paper just on a backer of some sort. This is why junk journals, I love that postcard, the Rice Lake Canoe, Joys of Summer, it says. And I added that side tuck pocket there, and I like how that red canoe plays off the red over here. This was something I just recreated from one of the scenes of this little book here. So we'll do that. I'll do some more of that. I'll recreate some of these scenes throughout the journal. We added some writing space here. We're going to come back and we're going to come back and do some sort of embellishment there. It's kind of boring. A couple of journaling cards here. We added something to the front of that belly band and we created a little cute card there. Now, if you wanted to, you could put some writing paper on the back of that, or if yours is white already, that's great. But just playing off the colors of the page opposite, I quite like that. Here we added a photo to the front of this passport, which is a pocket on top of a pocket. And we just added a couple of journaling cards there. This is just a collage. Here, I'll come back and decorate that tag. I just didn't want to cover up this background. I really like it. So just a simple tag in that pocket. Here I added some of those magazine minis on front of the pocket there. And then when you do something that comes up over top of the pocket, it helps keep things in the pocket as well. We made a couple journaling cards with the photos and rounded the corners and inked those up. I love their little faces showing there. This color bounces off here. This envelope we added, so we have a tuck spot. I didn't put anything in there yet, but I will. And I made those photos a little bit smaller and rounded the corners, layered them, and then added a portrait on top. This one I glued right down. We added a photo to that pocket, trying to keep the ship theme going there. I added a journaling card to this envelope, covered up the flap there. This we had already done. Here we added a couple of journaling cards. So we're certainly adding a bunch of writing space. This is fabulous. I just did a little collage there, basically with three. I fixed an oops there, made a journaling card here, made that into a booklet form. Okay, so that's about where we left off. So I'm going to just let you decorate away, and we'll come back in another video just so that we don't take too long. I'm going to continue decorating throughout. I hope you have lots of ideas to work with now. And then in the next video, we'll do some embellishing and we'll do our journal cover. And I think that will wrap up this beautiful journal. Oh, and a closure. We'll do some sort of a closure. So finish decorating the rest of your journal with more pockets and collages. I guess maybe before I go, we should do that one. I think we did one together already, but here where you have like this background we made with the collage bits, and then you just want to add something like this perhaps. So you just have that background that you made with your collage. I could make this into a couple small photos as well. You could do something like this, and perhaps add a ticket or something like that. There's a bunch of different things you could do there. These taller pockets, don't forget you have these vertical guys you can use, and you can give him a passport perhaps like this. So just put him in front of his passport. That would be a cute idea. And then add a journaling card of sorts in here. This one's just a little bit too big. Something smaller. That's an idea there. Like I've added a photo to the front of that one. But here's the idea again, just some sort of a frame, a major focal point. You can also fussy cut some of these guys. This guy holding this puppy, he would be kind of neat to add. Here's another pocket, just using the photos. Here I used some of those, the medallion type things. So I didn't take away from this. I wanted to keep as much of this collage open as possible. There. Here's another collage option. So that might be something for here, where we get to see a lot of the text show through. That's kind of neat. Again, you could do something with this fella. You could also do something that overhangs the pocket like that, so you can still access the pocket and just glue here so you're not gluing the pocket shut. You could do multiple pictures like this. There's so much you can do. So much. Just play around with it. Don't overthink it. There, that's something cute you can do too. You can put a backing in a different color on the photos and then add them to your spot like that, so we still see some of the text, so we get that altered book, the charm of the altered book. There's a belly band I haven't done anything with yet. We could add something like this to that belly band. Goes underneath and he glues on top. That's some nice layering like that. So there's, you could also fussy cut him and add him to your belly band, and then a big pocket at the back. So have fun decorating. So now my journal, it's still laying. I might put something over top of that heavy to flatten it a little bit, because I'm certainly going to be adding more to this, but I'm okay with the chunky journal. But just a reminder to use, instead of using, always using cardstock, to print some of these on regular, just regular copy paper, so that you save some room when you're collaging and such. Oh, she's cute. I kind of like her right there because of that blue background kind of goes here. Oh, I'm doing it. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that decorating. Don't forget, if you're stuck on ideas, I've got that list below in the description to help you, prompt you on what to do next. I haven't done any stenciling. I don't really have any stencils that lend itself. Mine are all floral. I might do a little bit here and there. Yeah, she's going right there. Stamps. I don't really have a lot of travel themed. I don't think I have any travel themed stamps. Actually, I'm looking at my wall, but that's not to say that I couldn't do some text stamping and numbers and that sort of thing. Okay, I want to put her right there or right here. Kind of like her right there. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that homework. I'm just going to clean up for now because I have those appointments today. But thanks again for hanging out with me in my craft room, and I will see you in the next series, the next part of this series. I'm having a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you then. Bye.